Hello everybody, Sergeant Soldier here, and we're back with another Building Rust. And today we are expanding upon the Shuriken from the last episode, and we're going to be adding more honeycombing to it, and we're going to start building it up. This is an option for those of you that start with the 1x1 star, and eventually make it into this Shuriken, and then eventually want to make it into what I call the expanded Shuriken. And it's basically just going out one more layer. So our starting layer is of course going to be this, right here. And you want to make sure at this point, you have to have the ladder hatch, because without the ladder hatch, it really isn't worth it to expand upon the layers if it's only going to be 2 C4 to blow straight down in the center. So make sure you have a ladder hatch, which means you have to be at the very least level 11 before you start expanding like this. So step 1, the first thing that I want to tell you guys to do is go around the outside of your base and upgrade all the exterior foundations to sheet metal. Yes, technically you don't have to do this, because at some point these are going to be encased in another layer of foundations, and the decay won't be hitting these, but this will be the last opportunity that you're going to have to upgrade a lot of these foundations to sheet metal before they get enclosed. So you might as well just use the many frags you're going to have, and just do the upgrading now. Step 2, once you get all those exterior foundations upgraded, you're going to go ahead and start building the next layer of honeycombing. And the easiest way to do this is to find the triangle foundation and build a square off of that. Once you have that square down, you build 2 triangles to both sides of it, and then a square on the opposite side of that triangle. So basically, one side is going to look exactly like this, which we have shown here. I've already upgraded these to sheet metal as well. That way I don't have to worry about missing any as I start building walls. It's just easier to upgrade them now because the decay resistance of sheet metal is a lot longer than stone, as well as the fact that it's going to take them more to blow up the sheet metal foundations. So if you have a higher base, an easy way for raiders to go into it is to blow your foundations and blow straight to the center. Not all the time. These bases are pretty low to the ground, so it wouldn't do a raider very much good to do that, but you always want to plan ahead and make sure you have everything done so that you don't have to worry about it in the future. The third phase, once you start putting the walls up, you start getting an idea of just how big this thing's really going to be. It's going to take you a lot of C4 to blow through this. So first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to drop down, and we're going to start counting the doors. So, first we have 1 C4, we're going to start calling these armored doors because they really need to be armored doors at this point. You have enough metal frags, you should also be smelting high quality and making doors out of it. 1 C4 for the sheet metal door, 2 C4 for the armored. Always make armored doors. So we've got 2 C4 there if you have armored, 4 C4, come on, 6 C4, 8, and 10 C4 to get to the center of our original base, the 1x1 star. 10 C4, not too bad, right? Now if they're going from the outside, it all depends on where they start from. So if they start from this square here, it's going to take them 2, 4, 6, 8 C4 to get to the center. If they start from this triangle, it's going to be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 to get to the center. Just counting the walls between us and that center foundation. So it really just depends. Most of the time they're going to try to hit a square if they're not going to go through the doors. However, it's hard to say what the raider's going to do because we don't know, right? Unless you're a pro raider and you can have some kind of ESP psychic thing going on, you're never going to know what a raider's going to do. All you can do is try to plan ahead to the best of your ability. So from this point, very easy. All we're going to do is put a ceiling on all these honeycombing, and then we're going to start building it. So we'll be right back. At this phase of the build, we have the first level completely done. All the honeycombing has been capped off, and we started the exterior honeycombing of the second level. Now this is where it gets tricky. You could do one of 2 things. Either A, you can make your loot room, the way I have it now with the small shuriken. It gives you a lot more space if you're anticipating having a lot of chests. However, it gives you a lot less honeycombing, which means it's going to take them less C4 and less rockets to get into your loot room. Or B, you can enclose this one more layer and your loot room is actually the 1x1 star in the center. That's the way that I would personally recommend it. Honestly, it's only going to be temporary and you're going to have to fill that honeycombing in later on down the road anyway as you move up the base, so there's no reason to just leave it open as it is now. A lot of times I've had people that go out for get resources and they were only gone for 20-30 minutes, and because the raiders knew they just left the base, they knew it was going to be an easy raid and they hit it while they were gone. These people came back, all their stuff was missing because they left a very easy opening in the design. This would technically be an easy opening. If you could throw 2 C4 on that second layer wall and buddy jump your way into it, 2 more C4, 4 C4, you're in the center and all your stuff's gone. So I always recommend making it as secure as possible, starting from the foundations up. You never want to make an empty shell because you want to go really high. You always want to make it beefy first. So in the next phase, we're going to be talking about adding a little bit more, and that should be it for this build. Now, as you can see here, I've decided to go with the 1x1 star loot room and the second level of this base. Now, the reason I decided to do that was because obviously, as you can see, we're talking a lot more honeycombing and a lot more protection. However, there's something very important that you should probably do before deciding what you want to do, and that's decide how big your loot room is going to be. Myself, I only need 4 large chests and 4 furnaces on the second level. Keep in mind, you're still going to have your chests and furnaces on the first level as well. You can still go up and down, back and forth using both. You don't have to move everything up immediately. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to come down, and you're going to see that I have my large chest sticking through the doorway. This gives us the most room to be able to go up and down without getting caught on chests. Also, what it does is it actually gives us room for a furnace in the back. Now, to access the furnace, all you got to do is crouch jump through the doorway like this, turn on and off, and everything else pretty much sits nicely. Not too bad. You can go up and down. See? Go down, close that. I can access all my chests. I can still access my furnaces if they had wood, but they don't. All of our doors down here. Now, to cap this off, of course, you're going to want to make sure to put in floors above your furnace room, loot room area, like so. After that, you go ahead and put your new hatch on, code lock it, upgrade all these to stone. If you're coming to a point at this portion of the base where you're running out of stone and you don't have enough building resources, but you have a ton of metal frags, go ahead and start putting stuff down with metal frags. At least it gets built to the point where you're actually protecting your stuff. And if it looks kind of weird, looks kind of janky, it looks janky, fine. But it's going to be more protected, and that's the most important thing with Rust, is that your base is actually protected. So at this point, I'm going to end this video. It's already pretty big. You can keep going further out with this design. It'll keep getting bigger and bigger as long as the resources are there. The resources are plentiful, and you have a lot of people grinding with you at that point. And B, as long as the area is flat enough. So with that, you can keep going higher as well. The higher up you get, eventually they'll come to the point where you don't need as much honeycombing, and you can actually have the regular size shuriken for your loot room, so you could put a lot of stuff in. However, I would always recommend to have an extra layer above your loot room, just so it's not 2C4, bam, you're in to get the stuff. You know what I mean? If they could jump on top of your base, you want to have at least a layer or 2 of empty space, nothing but honeycombing, so that if they're going to blow into you, they're going to have to use more C4 that way. So anyway, Sergeant Solj, this was the expanded Shuriken, and this is our 3rd episode of Building Rust, and hopefully you guys are enjoying this series. I'm really enjoying it because I know that some people have a lot of questions when it comes to expanding upon the foundations that are shown to them in the imager link that I'm going off of, which is in the description of this video and the previous videos. There are a lot of questions on what to do. It only shows you the foundations, and it doesn't give you very much to go on. So hopefully this video answered a lot of questions, and you guys are enjoying it like I am. And we'll see you in the next Building Rust video. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for watching this episode. If you want to see more great content from Private Astro or myself, please hit that subscribe button and click on any of the videos above. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next Sergeant Solj or Private Astro video. Bye-bye.